In the spring of 2025, a cryptic summons from Pope Francis arrives for the world's wealthiest tech visionary, Elon Musk, a man whose life revolves around rockets and electric vehicles, not spiritual retreats. Yet, on a quiet morning at his Fremont factory, a cream-colored envelope on his desk marks the beginning of a transformative journey. Within the Vatican's ancient walls, shielded from the prying eyes of journalists, the Pope poses a question so simple yet profound that it shakes the core of Musk's empire: what would you create if fear didn't hold you back? As a crisis looms at Musk's rocket company, he faces an impossible decision: reconnect with the dreams of his youth or cling to the empire he's built. And what secret lies within an antique mirror, hinting at his true purpose? Elon Musk stared at the cream-colored envelope resting on his desk. It bore no return address, only his name inscribed in a smooth, elegant script. The paper felt heavy and luxurious between his fingers. "Layla, who delivered this?" he called out. His assistant, Layla Chen, appeared in the doorway, her dark hair neatly tied in a bun, a tablet clutched in her hand as if it were an extension of her arm. "A courier brought it directly, Mr. Musk," she replied. He wouldn't say who sent him, just that it was urgent. Musk turned the envelope over. It was sealed with red wax, stamped with an unfamiliar emblem. Breaking the seal, he pulled out a single sheet of paper. "Mr. Elon Musk, I humbly request the honor of your presence for a private meeting at the Vatican on Friday, May 15th. There are matters of great significance I wish to discuss with you in person. With deep respect, Pope Francis." Musk read it twice before handing it to Layla. "Is this some kind of prank?" he asked. Layla examined the letter. "It has the Vatican's watermark and the Pope's official seal. I believe it's genuine." Musk leaned back in his chair, gazing out the window at the bustling factory floor below, where workers assembled the latest electric vehicle model. His week was packed with meetings, issues to resolve, and decisions to make. A trip to Rome wasn't on his agenda. "Why would the Pope want to meet me? I'm not even Catholic," he mused. "Should I verify its legitimacy?" Layla offered. "Yes, find out what this is about," Musk instructed. As Layla made calls, Musk tried to focus on his work, but his mind kept drifting back to the letter. Pope Francis was known for his unexpected actions, driving a modest car instead of a luxury vehicle, washing the feet of prisoners. But why reach out to a tech mogul focused on rockets and electric cars? An hour later, Layla returned. "It's real. I spoke with Archbishop Domingo at the Vatican. He confirmed Pope Francis requested a meeting with you but wouldn't disclose the purpose." Musk tapped his fingers on the desk. "Tell them I'm unavailable." "I tried," Layla replied. "The Archbishop said, and I quote, His Holiness specifically requested this meeting with Mr. Musk and believes it will be mutually beneficial." Musk frowned. He disliked enigmas. In his world, everything had a clear purpose: rockets needed to reach orbit, cars had to drive safely, solar panels had to harness energy. What was the intent of this meeting? "Mr. Musk, your schedule is clear that day. You were set to visit the Berlin factory, but Mr. Steinman can handle the inspection," Layla noted, scrolling through her tablet. "You could fly to Rome Thursday evening, meet the Pope Friday morning, and be back for the Saturday launch." Musk stood and paced his office, its walls lined with rocket models and car designs, a Mars globe and a photo of his children on his desk. "Fine. Tell them I'll come. But I want to know the agenda before I get there." "I'll try again," Layla said, though her expression suggested she expected little success. Over the next few days, Musk found himself thinking about the meeting more than he cared to admit. Late at night, he even skimmed articles about Pope Francis. The Pope had chosen his name after Saint Francis of Assisi, a champion of the poor, and spoke often about climate change and refugee aid, showing a deep concern for humanity's future. Perhaps he wanted to discuss using technology to address global issues. Thursday arrived swiftly. As Musk boarded his private jet, Layla handed him a dossier. "Everything you need to know about Vatican protocol, how to address the Pope, proper etiquette, what to wear." I'm not kissing his ring, Musk declared. Layla smiled. It says here he doesn't usually ask visitors to do that. As the plane prepared for takeoff, Musk's phone rang. It was Oscar, his lead engineer at the rocket company. Boss, we might have an issue with the oxygen valves for tomorrow's launch. Pressure readings are inconsistent. Musk's brow furrowed. Inconsistent how? Enough to concern me. We're running diagnostics, but we might need to delay. Keep me updated. If I need to return, I will, Musk replied. As the jet ascended, he pondered canceling the Vatican meeting. Part of him felt relieved at the thought, but another part was intrigued by what the leader of the Catholic Church might want to discuss with him. His phone buzzed incessantly with work messages, decisions needed for a new battery plant, design queries for Mars colonization plans, software glitches in the latest car update. Musk addressed each issue methodically, but the upcoming meeting lingered in his thoughts. What did the Pope want? Why him? What could a religious leader and a tech CEO possibly have to discuss? Mr. Musk? Layla interrupted his reverie. Would you like to review the quarterly reports before we land? Musk nodded, but as he took the reports, another message from Oscar arrived. Issue escalating. Might need your input on a critical decision soon. Musk sighed and typed a reply. I'm available. Do what you think is best for now. He glanced out the window. The sun was setting, painting the clouds in vivid orange and pink hues. Ahead lay Rome and the Vatican, and a mysterious meeting that might not even happen if the oxygen valves couldn't be fixed. For a man who planned Mars missions and envisioned humanity as a multiplanetary species, Musk suddenly felt uncertain about what tomorrow held. Layla, he asked, what do you think the Pope wants to talk about? She considered the question carefully. Maybe he sees something in you that you don't see in yourself. Musk raised an eyebrow. That's not like you to say. Layla gave a small smile. My grandmother was Catholic. She always said the Lord works in mysterious ways. Well, Musk replied, glancing at his phone as another message arrived, so do oxygen valves, apparently. As the plane soared toward Rome, Musk prepared for any outcome, a meeting that might alter his perspective in ways he couldn't foresee, or a swift return to the familiar challenges he knew how to solve. He closed his eyes as the jet crossed the dark Atlantic. Sleep eluded him. His mind oscillated between rocket valves and the enigmatic papal invitation. Opening his tablet, he scrolled through images of his company's achievements, electric cars rolling off assembly lines, rockets landing with precision, solar panels on rooftops, satellites orbiting Earth. I built all this, he whispered to himself in the quiet cabin. So why does it feel like it's not enough? The question startled him. He rarely indulged such thoughts. There was always the next goal, the next innovation, the next problem to tackle. But here, suspended between continents, the question surfaced like a bubble he couldn't push down. Memories of his childhood in South Africa emerged, a boy devouring science fiction books, building cardboard rockets while other kids played sports, dreaming of changing the world. Had he changed it? Yes, in many ways. But had he changed it in the right ways? A memory of his father's voice intruded, you're wasting your time on these fantasies. Musk shoved the thought aside. He'd proven his father wrong countless times. Yet, in quiet moments like this, old doubts crept in. Mr. Musk, Layla said, standing in the aisle, we're landing in an hour. Someone's waiting to meet us at the airport. Who? The Vatican sent a representative, Sister Margot. Musk nodded and peered out the window. The first hints of dawn touched the horizon. Below, Rome was stirring. As they landed, a short woman in simple black attire waited at the bottom of the jet stairs. Her gray hair was cropped in a practical style, her face bare of makeup. A small silver cross necklace was her only adornment, marking her as a nun. Mr. Musk, welcome to Rome. I'm Sister Margot, she said, her handshake firm, her English flawless with a faint Italian accent. "You're my escort?" Musk asked, surprised. He'd expected someone more formal. Sister Margot smiled. "His Holiness prefers simplicity. This way, please." A plain black car waited on the tarmac, not the luxury vehicle Musk was accustomed to during travels. "We've arranged a brief tour on the way to your hotel, if you're not too tired," Sister Margot said as they settled into the back seat. "I don't need a tour. I've been to Rome before," Musk replied. "As a tourist, perhaps. But have you seen the real Rome?" Before Musk could respond, his phone rang again. "Oscar. Boss, good news. We've identified the valve issue. It's fixable, but we'll need to delay the launch by 48 hours. Relief washed over Musk. He wouldn't have to rush back. "Handle it, Oscar. I trust you," he said, setting the phone aside. He noticed Sister Margot watching him. "Problem resolved?" she asked. "For now," Musk replied, gazing out the window as the car navigated the awakening city. "So, what does Pope Francis want from me?" "You must know." Sister Margot's expression revealed nothing. "His Holiness will explain. I'm not fond of mysteries. Life itself is a mystery, Mr. Musk. Even for a man who builds rockets." The car turned onto a narrow street, old buildings crowding either side, the morning light bathing the ancient stone in gold. 8 civilizations have called Rome home," Sister Margot said. 8 rises and falls. Rome teaches us that nothing lasts forever, not empires, not fortunes. "That's why I'm working on Mars," Musk replied. "Humanity needs a backup plan." Sister Margot nodded. "A noble goal. But is it your only one?" The question caught him off guard. Before he could answer, she reached into her bag and produced a small wooden box, no larger than his palm. "His Holiness asked me to give you this." Musk took the box. It was simple yet finely crafted, warm to the touch. "What's inside?" "That's between you and Pope Francis. But he requests you not open it until your meeting tomorrow." Musk examined the box. It had no lock, just a simple latch, easy to open. "Will you honor his request?" Sister Margot asked, watching him closely. After a moment, Musk slipped the box into his jacket pocket. "For now." The car paused at an intersection. An elderly man sold flowers to morning passers-by. Sister Margot lowered the window, bought a small bouquet of daisies, and exchanged a few words in Italian with the vendor, whose weathered face broke into a smile at whatever she said. "You speak as if you know everyone," Musk observed as they drove on. "Rome is a small city at heart," she replied. "Everyone has a story worth knowing." As they approached the hotel, Musk's phone buzzed again, more issues demanding his attention, more decisions awaiting him. But his fingers kept returning to the wooden box in his pocket, and he felt an odd anticipation for the day ahead. Their journey through the Vatican continued, revealing a fascinating blend of tradition and modernity. In one courtyard, ancient sculptures stood alongside a sleek array of solar panels, harnessing the sun's energy. In another room, conservators employed cutting-edge scanning tools to preserve fragile manuscripts, ensuring history endured. Noticing Musk's intrigued expression, Sister Margot asked, "Did you think we'd reject science, Mr. Musk?" He admitted, "I didn't expect such harmony." She nodded thoughtfully. "Faith and reason aren't adversaries. His Holiness often says science and religion speak different languages to describe the same truth." They reached a modest wooden door guarded by a lone Swiss guard. Sister Margot exchanged a few quiet words with him, and he stepped aside. "His Holiness is ready to see you," she told Musk. "I'll wait here." A sudden wave of nerves gripped Musk, an unfamiliar sensation. "What should I say?" he asked, surprising himself with the question. Sister Margot's response was simple yet profound. "Be truthful. His Holiness values honesty over formality." Musk adjusted his tie, took a deep breath, and nodded. The guard opened the door. As Musk stepped forward, his phone buzzed in his pocket. Oscar's name flashed on the screen, signaling a rocket issue. He hesitated for a moment, then silenced the device and crossed the threshold. The room beyond was unexpectedly small and unadorned. Bookshelves lined the walls, filled with volumes on various subjects. A wooden desk held neatly stacked papers, and sunlight streamed through a single window, illuminating the space. Rising from a simple chair was Pope Francis, smaller in person than on television, an elderly man with kind eyes and a warm smile. He wore plain white robes, devoid of ornate embellishments, a hallmark of his humble style. "Mr. Musk," the Pope greeted in English, his accent soft, extending a hand. "Thank you for traveling so far to meet me." Musk shook his hand, noting its firm grip. "Thank you for the invitation, Your Holiness." "Please, take a seat," the Pope said, gesturing to a chair across from his own. There was no throne or ceremonial grandeur, just two chairs by a window overlooking a garden. As they sat, Musk noticed the books on the desk, not only religious texts but also works on science, economics, and philosophy. One caught his eye, a book on space exploration featuring his company's rocket on the cover. "You've read about my work?" Musk asked, intrigued. Pope Francis smiled. "I try to stay informed. Your vision of making humanity a multiplanetary species is fascinating." Musk hadn't expected the Pope to be so familiar with his endeavors. Most religious leaders showed little interest in space travel. Quoting scripture, the Pope added, "The heavens declare the glory of God." The psalmist wrote that long before telescopes. Exploration has always been part of the human spirit. Leaning forward slightly, he continued, "I've followed your ventures with interest: electric vehicles to reduce pollution, solar energy to combat climate change, space travel to expand humanity's horizons. These are noble pursuits." Musk felt an unexpected warmth at the praise. "Thank you," he replied. "But I wonder," the Pope continued, his tone thoughtful, "if these innovations alone can address humanity's deepest challenges." The question caught Musk off guard. He'd come to discuss his work, not defend it. "Technology solves problems religion has failed to address for centuries," Musk said, more sharply than intended. If the Pope was offended, he didn't show it. Instead, he nodded reflectively. "Perhaps. But religion answers questions technology cannot. Why are we here? What gives life meaning? What duties do we owe one another?" Musk shifted in his seat. "I focus on securing humanity's future before delving into philosophical matters." "Are they merely philosophical?" The Pope's gaze was gentle but piercing. "You grew up in South Africa during apartheid. You witnessed human suffering firsthand. Did that shape your drive to build a better world?" Musk stared, taken aback. How did the Pope know about his childhood? Few ever asked about those years. Changing the subject, Pope Francis said, "Sister Margot gave you a box. Did you open it?" Musk hesitated, then nodded. "Yes." "And what did you see in the mirror?" "My reflection," Musk replied. "Nothing remarkable." The Pope smiled softly. "Sometimes, our reflection is the hardest thing to truly see." He stood and walked to the window. "Come, look at this garden." Musk joined him, the wooden box heavy in his pocket. "This garden was planted 500 years ago," the Pope explained. "Each pope since has added to it, yet its essence remains unchanged: progress without destruction, change with continuity." Something told Musk this conversation was about to take an unexpected turn, delving far beyond rockets or electric cars. "Do you know why I invited you here, Mr. Musk?" the Pope asked, turning to meet his gaze. "I've been wondering since I received your letter," Musk admitted. The Pope gestured back to their seats, and they sat again. "I've followed your career with great interest. You've built extraordinary things: space travel to ensure humanity's survival, solar energy to fight climate change. These are worthy goals, the Pope acknowledged. But I'm curious about the path to achieving them. What do you mean? Musk asked. Your companies push employees to their limits. You've said you sometimes work 120 hours a week, sleeping at the factory. You expect others to match your dedication. Musk's expression hardened. Creating the future isn't easy. If it were, someone else would have done it already. True innovation demands sacrifice. The Pope nodded. Sacrifice, yes. But at what cost to the workers who rarely see their families? To society, when wealth concentrates in fewer hands? To your own children, who miss their father? The mention of his children struck Musk like a blow. I'm building a better world for them, he said. But will they recognize you in it? The Pope asked gently but directly. Musk stood and returned to the window, unaccustomed to such personal challenges. Most people either hailed him as a visionary or criticized him as a villain. This probing felt different, more intimate, more searching. You asked about my childhood in South Africa, Musk said after a pause. Yes, it shaped me. I saw suffering, stagnation. I vowed to help build a different world. Pope Francis joined him at the window. A noble aim. And you've achieved remarkable things. Few have transformed so many industries in one lifetime. But do you think it's enough? Musk's tone carried a defensive edge. You think it's not? I believe the means matter as much as the end, the Pope replied. I wonder if your intense focus on technological solutions has blinded you to other dimensions of human flourishing, connection, compassion, the inner life of the spirit. He gestured to the garden below. See that elderly gardener? He's worked here for 40 years, knowing every plant, every seasonal shift. His work brings him deep fulfillment because he sees himself as a caretaker, not a conqueror. Musk watched the gray-haired man carefully pruning a rose bush. Not all of us can afford the luxury of tending a garden. Someone has to tackle the big problems. Indeed, the Pope agreed. But, how matters as much as, what? He returned to his desk and picked up a letter. Do you know a man named Marco Bellini? The name sounded vaguely familiar, but Musk couldn't place it. I don't think so. Thousands work at my companies. He was an engineer at your rocket company, the Pope explained. A brilliant mind. He helped design propulsion systems for your Mars mission. Musk recalled, a tall, quiet Italian who left about a year ago. He wrote to me before leaving your company, the Pope continued, holding the letter. He was concerned about certain decisions, cutting safety protocols, ethical issues overlooked in the rush to meet deadlines. Musk's jaw tightened. We never compromise on safety. One disgruntled employee doesn't. He wasn't disgruntled, Mr. Musk. He was heartbroken, the Pope interjected, his voice calm but firm. He believed in your vision but felt it was undermined by pressures to move faster, outpace competitors, satisfy investors. That's the reality of business, Musk countered. We're revolutionizing space travel. It's not simple. No worthy endeavor is, the Pope agreed. But the hardest path isn't always the right one. He placed the letter back on the desk. Marco believed you could reach Mars, but he believed even more in the sanctity of human life. He couldn't reconcile risks that might endanger lives, even if those risks were small. We've never had fatalities, Musk pointed out. Thank God for that, the Pope said sincerely. But Marco worried it was only a matter of time. A culture of moving fast and breaking things works for software. For rockets carrying humans. This concludes our narrative journey. I trust you found this gripping saga of intrigue, cutting-edge innovation, and astonishing discoveries captivating. From where are you tuning in today? I'm curious to learn which corner of the globe this tale has touched. If this escapade held your interest, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for a steady stream of compelling, mind-expanding stories just like this one. Fresh material is posted frequently, ensuring you're always in the loop for the newest spellbinding adventures. Be sure to pass this video along to your loved ones and friends. It's a great way to share positivity and insight while expanding our circle of story enthusiasts. Your encouragement is invaluable. Thank you for joining me, and I look forward to welcoming you back for the next tale.